As the story resumes, Yuru's pale blue Dou Qi clashed violently with the Grey Guardian's silver lightning Dou Qi, both forces seemingly equal in power. Yuru and Lu Yin spiraled continuously in combat against the Grey Guardian. Meanwhile, Xiaoyan sat cross-legged, his Dou Qi surging wildly, even causing the air around him to crackle with the sounds of fracturing space. Xiaoyan, at the early peak of the 3-star Dou Di, was only a step away from mid-level, his Dou Qi brimming and ready for a breakthrough. Elsewhere, 5 other battles unfolded. Firstly, Wang Zhong faced a guardian. The black cloth over his eyes, a symbol of his uncontrolled power, had vanished without a trace, revealing his peak 3-star Dou Di strength as he unleashed his full force from the outset. Jian Wangqing's Wang Zhong, at your service, he declared to his opponent. Wang Zhong's intense gaze and the giant sword in his hand conveyed an overwhelming power, prompting a tense furrow from the guardian's brow as a major battle loomed. Secondly, the berserker, Sun Ming. Known for his berserker lineage, Sun Ming's body could undergo a transformation, amplifying his strength explosively, tearing his clothes apart and revealing bulging muscles veined with power. In the third conflict, Kansu and Wu Huan faced a guardian. Wu Huan led the offensive, supported by Kansu's more subdued tactics. Despite the intense fight, they managed a stalemate, though Kansu was careful not to overreach, especially against an opponent whose fiery Dou Qi was particularly suppressive against his colder nature. Attack from the front, I'll take the rear, Wu Huan strategized amidst their struggle. Fourthly, Feng Yi and Yao Mei formed an intriguing duo. Their fight was not just about strength but also strategy and endurance, using their agility and soul attacks to gradually wear down their opponent. Lastly, back at Xiaoyan's location, the battle continued unabated, with other powerful figures within the Grand Hall forming the 6th group of fighters. Despite being besieged by 100 fighters, it was clear that this guardian was the most formidable among the 6, boasting near 4-star Dou Di capabilities, even though he had only recently awakened and was not yet fully restored. It's important to note the vast difference between the peak of 3-star Dou Di and 4-star Dou Di. The latter could easily contend with 10 warriors of the former's caliber. In this final battle area, despite the presence of some extraordinarily talented fighters, no one dared challenge the Guardian directly. Instead, they continuously engaged in maneuvers around him. Boom, boom, boom. Yuru, wrapped in her pale blue Dou Qi, kept engaging the Grey Guardian. Intriguingly, ever since Yuru's Dou Qi manifested, the Guardian's silver spear seemed to disappear. Yet, Yuru found herself increasingly on the defensive under the Guardian's relentless attacks. Lu Yin was equally astonished by the Grey Guardian's strength. Her own Ice Dou Qi, which had previously frozen peak 3-star Dou Dis, seemed ineffective at even delaying the Guardian for a second. In reality, Lu Yin's power was formidable. Her Ice Dou Qi silently infiltrated the ground beneath the Guardian's feet during Xiaoyan and the Guardian's exchanges, unnoticed due to the Guardian's extensive combat experience. However, once he realized he was about to be frozen, his Thunder Dou Qi burst forth explosively, cleverly breaking free, a testament to elemental suppression rather than Lu Yin's error. Puff, puff, puff. Lu Yin touched the icy blue bird, which then rapidly expanded, its body enlarging manifold and its aura intensifying to match the peak of 3-star Dou Di. Concurrently, Lu Yin's own energy seemed to drain, her complexion turning pale. The icy blue bird emitted a chilling aura, freezing the space around it. Little Han, attack together with Big Sister, Lu Yin commanded weakly. Lu Yin, the pride of the city of 10,000 beasts, practiced a method of borrowing strength from magical beasts or lending her own power to them to unleash formidable force. Her current strategy was to lend all her power to Little Han, giving the bird enough strength to match the Guardian. She knew her own power wasn't enough to overcome the Guardian alone. Instead, by lending it to Little Han, the combined force of the bird's chill and attacks might buy them more time. Lu Yin had no fear of backlash from Little Han absorbing her power, as their bond, formed from years of companionship, was deep and genuine, far more so than typical human relationships. Damn, this Guardian is incredibly strong. Yuru noticed something peculiar during her exchanges. Each attack from the Guardian seemed weak, yet he never aimed for vital points, and crucially, he appeared to grow stronger with each passing moment. Normally, one would expect a fighter's strength to diminish over time in battle, but this Guardian seemed to defy that expectation. Before Yu Ru could ponder further, a fresh wave of attacks from the Gray Guardian roared towards her. As Yu Ru and the Guardian continued their skirmish, Lu Yin, weakened, collapsed to the ground. The enormous icy beast looked on with a tinge of pity in its eyes, seemingly distressed about its master's condition, then spread its wings and launched an attack on the Gray Guardian. Flakes of icy blue feathers cascaded from the icy giant beast's wings, hurtling towards the Gray Guardian with a howling force. Yu Ru and the Gray Guardian clashed palms in a fierce confrontation. At that moment, the terrifying icy blue feathers reached their target. Boom, boom, boom. The Gray Guardian, undeterred by the attack of the icy giant beast, conjured a silver light shield around himself, seemingly impenetrable. The Guardian had anticipated that the icy blue feathers would halt upon hitting his lightning shield, resulting in mutual disintegration of energy. However, an unexpected scene unfolded. The feathers, gaining sharpness and speed, pierced through the light shield with a chilling aura and struck the Guardian directly. Ice formed rapidly at the points of impact on his body. Bang, bang, bang. The Gray Guardian, caught off guard by the potency of the icy beast's feather attack which managed to breach his defenses, surged his energy to shatter the arrow-like feathers attached to him. Puff, puff, puff. The icy chunks formed by the icy blue feathers on his body were shattered by the Guardian. Unbeknownst to the Gray Guardian, the shattered icy blue feathers drifted down in the vast hall, gradually making breathing difficult and slowing the concentration and usage of Dou Qi. This little beast is truly remarkable, thought Yu Ru, who had been pushed back several steps by the Guardian's forceful rebound. She then noticed the prowess of Lu Yin's creature. Turning her head, Yu Ru glanced at Xiao Yin, who was at a critical juncture of his breakthrough, and a mysterious rune on her forehead began to glow softly. Now, there's only one thing to do. Xiao Yin, thank you for all your help. It's my turn to guard you now as you break through, Yu Ru murmured with a gentle smile. Then scanning the surroundings, she noted the immense energy erupting from every combat zone. They were aware that with time, the Guardian's full strength would return, reaching 4-star Dou D level, a stark contrast to their own 3-star level. As Yu Ru muttered softly, the mysterious rune on her forehead shone brightly, and she opened her arms wide. Rings of pure, moon-like energy radiated from her forehead, ancient and pristine in nature. In the midst of their ongoing battle, the Gray Guardian and the icy blue giant beast paused, drawn by Yu Ru's overwhelming aura. Moonlight's grace, the Guardian exclaimed incredulously, fear evident in his eyes as he recognized the power emanating from Yu Ru. What is that? Lu Yin asked weakly, puzzled by the immense and terrifying power within Yu Ru. Moonlight's grace? Echoed the Golden Dragon King, equally surprised. Master, what is Moonlight's grace? Xiao Yin, curious even in the midst of his breakthrough, sought knowledge from his master, the Golden Dragon King. Moonlight's grace is said to be a power left in the mortal world by the Jiaoyu fairy, offering access to certain legacies and, with luck, the true legacy of the Jiaoyu fairy herself, explained the Golden Dragon King. However, such phenomena are rare, and truly receiving the fairy's legacy isn't just about these manifestations. Jiaoyu fairy? Xiao Yin remarked in surprise, knowing that anyone associated with the term immortal was a formidable force in their own right. A Dou Xian, a key power. Yu Ru was indeed among the true pinnacle of forces. Surprised though he was, Xiao Yin calmed himself down, reminding himself not to aim too high and instead focus on breaking through to the mid 3-star Dou D level to resolve the current issues. Xiao Yin, you clever boy. First it was the Angelic Clan, and now this Jiaoyu fairy. It seems all these are proving something, the Golden Dragon King murmured in a tone only he could hear. Yu Ru's body emitted bursts of pure white light from her forehead, the light pure and flawless, as innocent as a newborn. Yet, the Guardians present knew the terrifying power hidden within this seemingly gentle white light. It was a force not even their restored peak could withstand. As the moonlight enveloped Yuru completely, her aura underwent a dramatic transformation. From her previously gentle demeanor, she now radiated a cold, pure power. With her lips slightly parted and her body shrouded in moon-like radiance, she appeared as a celestial being descending to the mortal realm, untainted by worldly matters. "One move," she stated simply, then transformed into a beam of moonlight, piercing straight through the Grey Guardian. Puff, puff, puff. "Damn it!" the Guardian cursed as he spat blood, evidently severely wounded, then transformed into 3 streams of light that infused into Xueying, Yuru, and Lu Yin. They all knew this was an Immortal Class Dou skill, but there was no time to deeply comprehend it. At that moment, everyone in the Great Hall realized that this battle had been decisively won. As Yuru was about to collapse weakly to the ground, a gentle voice said, "Leave the rest to me," and a figure caught the falling Yuru. Clearly, using such a power that wasn't her own brought significant aftereffects. Yuru looked at the young man who was carrying a heavy ruler, surrounded by flames. Seeing Yuru's weakened state, Xueying moved her to a resting spot to recover, then, to the astonishment of everyone present, produced a dozen medicinal pills from his hand. The pills, surrounded by a faint medicinal halo, were clearly the work of a high-level alchemist. "Eat these, you'll recover faster. You won't need to use such power anymore," Xueying said resignedly, having seen Yuru use her power to protect him. Despite their brief acquaintance, he felt a deep connection, but Xueying was not one to dwell on emotions, knowing they still faced other guardians. "Xueying, you bastard!" Wu Huan shouted, seeing that the fight at their location had ended. "Come help me." But Xueying was not one to engage in unnecessary battles. Being cautious was always wise. Except for Xueying's area, the other 5 battle zones were at a disadvantage. As for the Grey Guardian they faced, it wasn't that he was weak. Rather, the power from the mysterious rune on Yuru's forehead was overwhelmingly strong. The moonlight's grace instantly immobilized all the spiritual energy around the Guardian, even causing his Dou Qi to begin solidifying, leading to Yuru's moon-like assault. Being related to a Dou Xian, such a phenomenon was certainly extraordinary. Seeing that Xueying and his allies had ended their battle, the others knew it was time for the final strike. Boom, boom, boom. Terrifying power emanated from Wang Zhong, then slowly infused into his ancient black sword. Despite Wang Zhong's fervent channeling of vast amounts of Dou Qi into the sword, no power seemed to emanate from it. Could something be wrong? The powerful onlookers wondered, but then thought better of it. Surely the famed sword lunatic of Sword King City couldn't be mistaken. Puff, puff, puff. Wang Zhong's eyes still burned with a fierce will to fight, having gained much insight into the sword intent from his exchange with the Guardian. "Take this move," Wang Zhong declared, his eyes gleaming fiercely as he raised his black sword. As Wang Zhong raised the black sword, an overwhelming aura burst forth. Numerous sword shadows materialized beside the blade, howling towards the Guardian. Sword-destroying strike. Wang Zhong's eyes shone with madness, and his black sword unleashed astonishing power. This was truly a fusion of man and sword, a realm of oneness. Those with keen insight among the audience recognized this, although Wang Zhong had only just entered this realm. However, among his peers, he was unrivaled. The union of human and sword melds the strengths of both, creating a tremendously terrifying force. Boom, boom, boom. The aftermath of the battle rippled outward. The Guardian coughed heavily, then spat out a mouthful of blood, admitting defeat and returning to the stone steps. At the third battle site, Sun Ming exuded a ferocious aura. Despite numerous injuries, his relentless attacks on the Guardian did not falter. Each punch and kick intensified Sun Ming's berserker state, where blood only fueled his ferocity. Regardless of the powerful attacks launched by the Guardian, Sun Ming countered fiercely with his body, his strength climbing with each wound. Puff, puff, puff. The Guardian eventually fell to Sun Ming's relentless, life-for-life combat strategy. The third Guardian retreated to the stone steps. Yao Mei continuously maneuvered around the Guardian, dodging attacks with her enhanced agility and delivering powerful counterstrikes. Feng Yi, knowing his practical combat skills were lacking, seized the opportunity to launch a devastating soul attack. Even the Guardian, at the peak of 3-star Dou D, struggled against Feng Yi's soul force and alchemical prowess. Feng Yi's Emperor Realm Soul, combined with his fearsome soul attacks, briefly stunned the Guardian, allowing Yao Mei to seize the moment and defeat him. Thus, the 4th Guardian was defeated. At the sight of the 5th Guardian, Wu Huan and the Undead Warrior faced off. The Undead Warrior, enveloped in black Dou Qi, was at a disadvantage against the fire-attributed Guardian and could only assist Wu Huan. Seeing results elsewhere, Wu Huan unleashed his full Dou Qi in a desperate attack, defeating the Guardian. The 5th Guardian was defeated. As for the 6th Guardian, with time, his strength had recovered to nearly 4-star Dou D, explaining why hundreds were struggling against him. Boom, boom, boom. Fierce Dou Qi lashed out in all directions towards the Guardian, who calmly deflected the seemingly powerful attacks. As other battles concluded, only their group of 100 still fought on. Everyone, this Guardian is at his limit. If we strike together with full force, we can defeat him, Baishan declared, rallying the fighters. The final Guardian, if defeated, could grant them access to Immortal Class Dou techniques, and perhaps even greater fortunes. Motivated by Baishan's words, the fighters summoned their Dou Qi, which merged into a massive dragon of multicolored energy, roaring as it charged at the Guardian. The terrifying force broke through the Guardian's defenses, striking him fiercely. Boom, boom, boom. Explosions of energy burst forth, and the Guardian staggered back under the assault. With this, all 6 Guardians were defeated, and the victors were bathed in the glow of the Immortal Class Dou techniques emanating from the Guardians. Returning to the stone steps, he then looked at the figure in white beneath the skeleton. Since you've passed the assessment, so be it, he said. This great fortune should belong to your younger generation. The figure in white slowly turned around to address the unstable crowd in the hall. You, come here, he beckoned to Xueying, who was then magically drawn in front of him. Xueying saw a face of delicate features and a slender figure clad in white, looking so remarkable that he could hardly believe such an exquisite man could exist if he hadn't seen him up close. The figure in white then made another gesture towards the void. Why lurk in the shadows when you have already arrived? Boom, boom, boom. The space shattered, revealing a girl in a hat standing on a green lotus. Boom, boom, boom. As the figure in white reached into the void, a girl emerged. Your discernment is indeed remarkable, acknowledged the girl as the space in front of the figure in white burst apart. The ringing sound of her voice caused a brief dizziness in Xueying's mind, an astonishing feat given his Emperor Realm Soul, indicating a significant overpowering presence. However, Xueying quickly recovered. Since the figure in white hadn't attacked him, he took it as a potentially good sign and decided to see how things would unfold. With a plan in mind, Xueying looked up in shock, then saw a green and red light burst forth from the figure in white, finally coalescing into a lotus seat. On that lotus sat a figure with graceful curves, her face partially hidden under a hat and through a sheer veil. Despite this, her crystal-clear eyes seemed to dim the very heavens of the great hall. The woman wore a light scholarly robe, her eyebrows like verdant feathers, her skin as white as snow, her waist dainty as if clasped by silk, her veiled face radiating a serene allure, exuding an air of saintly power that seemed to grace her with an elegant aura, as if making the world around her pale in comparison. Such a woman, with such beauty and strength, was truly a rare sight in the world. The bustling hall fell silent at her appearance. Though her face was covered by a hat and veil, the glimpses of her nearly perfect facial contours through the gaps made everyone there yearn to tear away the veil and see the beauty that could overshadow all flowers. What a beautiful woman! Xueying marveled, unable to take his eyes off the lotus-standing scholar-robed woman, inwardly gasping at the sight. Among all the women he had encountered, Kaelin might have been the most charming, but this mysterious woman before him seemed unparalleled. Yet, despite her melodious, bell-like voice, Xueying saw no trace of softness in those crystal-clear eyes. Instead, there was an unfathomable coldness, suggesting a nature warm on the outside but icy within. Like a vibrant flower in the ice and snow, never blooming even after thousands of years. Such women, colder on the inside than their frosty exterior suggests, are even more challenging to deal with, not to mention one with both strength and beauty. Who is this woman? Xiaoyin turned to Yu Ru down the steps and asked softly. Yu Ru's brows furrowed slightly, a hint of confusion and even a tinge of jealousy evident in her eyes regarding the woman's appearance and demeanor. This woman seems to have a significant background, but it's beyond what my status allows me to know, Baishan interjected at that moment. Being able to conceal herself from such a person as the man in white, her identity must be anything but ordinary, Xiaoyin agreed, nodding slightly as he muttered to himself. The young lady's name is Su Xueying. I have come here solely to obtain the Emperor's essence blood, declared the stunning woman as she floated down from midair, landing gracefully on the lotus platform like a figure untouched by worldly dust. I didn't expect that people from Tianyuan continent would be interested in something from Xinling continent, Wu Huan said, his gaze towards the mysterious woman unhiddenly ardent. Such a beauty could stir any man's heart, though he made no effort to hide it. It's merely a coincidence, Su Xueying replied with a smile, then turned to the man in white and spoke softly. Since the elder has guarded it for thousands of years, it should now be entrusted to us. It's time to go out and see this vast world. We have guarded this hall for thousands of years. It is not something you can just claim, the man in white responded with a laugh. However, what you say is true. Those without the power of flame protecting them should leave quickly, he added. Wu Huan, the undead warrior, Feng Yi, and the other prodigies of the heavens, upon hearing this, turned their gazes towards Xiaoyin, who possessed a powerful flame force. Damn it! Are we just supposed to give up here? Some among them were unwilling to leave, having braved the dangers of this perilous relic. Now inside the hall, they were close to the most precious treasures, and no one wanted to give up at this point. Several strong figures in the hall, unwilling to leave just like that, flew towards the skeleton behind the man in white, attempting to seize even a sliver of the treasures. Boom, boom, boom. Before they could get past the stone steps, they were turned into mist by the terrifying power of the man in white, their souls not even having a chance to escape. The man in white's aura enveloped him, his formidable power instantly spreading throughout the hall. A 5-star Dou D? The onlookers were shocked, realizing that the man in white's power was definitely beyond that of a 5-star Dou D. The difference between a 3-star and a 4-star Dou D was not trivial, and even the heaven's chosen ones from the 7 cities could not stand a chance against a 4-star Dou D. After a moment's thought, valuing life over greed won out. After all, the best treasures were useless without a life to enjoy them. Moreover, there were still some heavenly materials and earthly treasures within the relic, and the 7 prodigies had also obtained a part of the Immortal Class Dou techniques, which was a significant gain. Reluctantly, they prepared to leave the hall. Let's go. Be careful after I leave, Yu Ru. I'll be back. Xiaoyin also looked at the 6 injured guardians and the man in white, and then at the exceptionally beautiful woman. Now you can tell me, he said. Why suppress your own power to enter this relic? As everyone left the hall, the man in white spoke to the woman on the lotus platform. Because of this, the woman from the lotus gently raised her hand, revealing a simple token that flew towards the man in white. The moment the plain token appeared, the pupils of the 6 guardians at the stone steps constricted sharply. The man in white slowly caught the token from the woman, feeling a surge of intense energy pass into his hand before he slowly opened it to reveal the token. Fire. The token bore just one large character. Then the man in white slowly closed his eyes. How is she? She's still waiting for someone. The man in white then opened his eyes, looking incredulous. Really? True or not, why not go and see for yourself? The woman calmly replied.